Virgo, stop. Right now, something ancient in the sky just shifted for the first time in nearly 20 years. Most Virgos will completely miss it. Make one wrong move before midnight and you could miss it too. This is not a drill. Somewhere between one breath and the next, the sky changed. You didn't feel it happen. Nobody does. But on the same day you're watching this, the lunar nodes, the two invisible points astrologers call the soul's compass, moved into a new position for the first time since 2007, almost 2 decades. Long enough that most of you weren't even the same person the last time this happened. Think about who you were back then. That version of you would barely recognize the one sitting here now. Here's what makes this personal. Virgo, not general, not for everyone, but personal. For the last 18 months, that soul compass has been sitting directly on top of your sign, which means every ounce of pressure you felt to grow, to release, to finally stop carrying what was never yours to carry, that wasn't random. That was written in the sky, pointed directly at you this entire time. And now it's moving on. The nodes are shifting out of Virgo and into Leo and Aquarius, which means as of right now, the chapter that's been quietly rewriting your identity for 1.5 years is closing. Not gradually, not eventually, now, tonight. In the same 24 hours you're sitting here watching this video, which, by the way, is not a coincidence. You don't stumble onto a video like this by accident. Something in you knew it was time to listen. I want you to think about that for a second. Out of everything you could be watching right now, this is the one that found you on this exact day, at this exact hour. If that doesn't send a chill down your spine, sit with it a little longer, because it should. This is Leo season, which means the sun, the source of light and life in your chart, is currently blazing through the sign that governs your house of endings, your house of surrender, your house of the unseen. And layered on top of that, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, luck and destiny, only just arrived in that same territory a few weeks ago, for the first time in 12 years. Do you understand what that means? Endings, surrender and expansion, all activated at once, all pointed at the quietest, most hidden room in your chart, the room where old fears go to finally die. This is not small. This is not just another Tuesday energy. This is the kind of astrological window astrologers wait years to talk about, and it landed on your sign on this day, while your ruling planet, Mercury, is still catching its breath from stationing direct just days ago. So before we go any further, Virgo, take this seriously, because what you do or fail to do in the next 24 hours will decide whether you walk through the door the universe just opened, or whether it quietly closes without you. Let's talk about what you've really been carrying, because you need to understand it before you can finally put it down. What you've been silently carrying. Let's be honest about what the last 1.5 years has actually felt like for you. It's felt like being the reliable one, the one who shows up early, who double-checks everything, who quietly fixes what everyone else leaves broken, and somehow still lies awake at night, convinced you didn't do enough. It's felt like holding a mental checklist for so long that you forgot there was a version of you that existed before the checklist. It's felt like giving and giving and giving, until you looked up one day and realized nobody had asked whether you had anything left to give. Maybe it looked like saying "I'm fine" when you weren't. Maybe it looked like rewriting the same message 4 times so it wouldn't sound too demanding. Small moments, but 18 months of small moments adds up to something that finally has to break open. If any part of that just hit you in the chest, Virgo, I need you to know that wasn't a personality flaw. That was the South Node sitting in your sign for 18 months, asking you to finally see the pattern so you could release it. The universe doesn't hand you a lesson gently. It hands you the same wound over and over until you're finally tired enough to let it go. And the lesson underneath it all was simple, even if it never felt simple. You were never supposed to earn your worth through perfection. You were never supposed to prove you deserved rest, love, or peace by exhausting yourself first. That belief, the one whispering that you're only as good as your last flawless effort, that belief is what's dying right now, in these final hours. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. Your ruling planet, Mercury, the planet of thought, of analysis, of the constant inner narrator running commentary in your head, only just stationed direct days ago after weeks of retrograde fog, which means your mind is still recalibrating, still shaking off old static. You might have noticed it yourself. A decision that felt crystal clear yesterday suddenly feels foggy again today. A conversation you thought was finished replaying itself in your head at 2 a.m. That's not a malfunction. That's Mercury finding its footing again in the exact same window the nodes are shifting. Your ruling planet and your soul's evolutionary compass both recalibrating at once. That kind of overlap doesn't happen often, and when it does, it tends to mark the people who feel it as never quite the same afterward. So here is where you stand tonight. Behind you, 18 months of over-functioning, over-analysing, over-giving, dressed up as responsibility. Ahead of you, a door opening into something lighter, something that doesn't require you to bleed to be worthy of it. But doors like this don't stay open forever, and there is exactly one mistake that will slam it shut before you even realise what happened. Let's talk about that mistake now, because if you've watched this far, some part of you already knows what I'm about to say. The one mistake that could cost you everything. Here it is, Virgo. The mistake. It's not a decision you'll make loudly. Nobody will see it happen. It won't look dramatic from the outside. It will look like you at your kitchen table or in your car or lying in bed at 11:47 p.m. doing the exact thing you've always done when life asks you to trust it, overthinking your way back into the old pattern. You'll feel that quiet knowing, the one that already told you what needs to end, what needs to be said, what needs to be released. And instead of trusting it, you'll reach for one more pro and con list, one more search, one more conversation where you ask somebody else what they think, hoping they'll hand you the certainty you're too afraid to give yourself. That's the mistake, not the searching itself. Searching is human. The mistake is using it to drown out the one answer that was already clear. Maybe for you, it's the job you know you've outgrown, but you keep rereading the description of a position you haven't even applied to yet, looking for a reason to stay small. Maybe it's the relationship where the silence says more than the conversation does. Maybe it's the apology you owe yourself, not anyone else. Whatever it is for you, you already know. You knew before this video even started. Here's why this matters so much tonight specifically. The nodes don't ask for logic. They never have. They ask for trust. They ask you to move before you have the spreadsheet, before you have the 5-year plan, before every possible outcome has been mapped and mitigated. And Virgo, that is the single hardest request the universe could ever make of you, because your entire nervous system was built to find the flaw before it finds the piece. So, picture 2 versions of tonight. In one, you feel that pull toward the conversation you've been avoiding, the boundary you've been afraid to set, the truth you already know but haven't said out loud. And you honor it. Messy, imperfect, not fully thought through. You do it anyway. And the moment you do, something in your chest loosens that has been tight for 18 months. In the other, you feel that same pull and your mind steps in like it always has. It tells you to wait, to think it through one more time, to be sure. And one more time quietly becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes next week, and a window that only opens once every 2 decades closes so gently you don't even notice. Until months from now, when you're back in the exact same loop, wondering why nothing ever seems to change. That second version is not a punishment. The universe isn't cruel like that. It will simply hand you the same lesson again, dressed differently at another crossing. But why wait years for a door that's standing wide open right now? You already know which version of tonight you're afraid of becoming. So let's make sure you don't. Because right now, whether you've noticed or not, you're already being shown exactly where to look. The signs are already speaking to you. Pay attention to the next 24 hours, Virgo, because the universe rarely announces itself with a shout. It prefers whispers. Small, specific, undeniable whispers that only make sense to the person they're meant for. Maybe it's a number. 11:11 on the clock, right as you check your phone for the 3rd time today. 444 on a receipt, a license plate, a step count. Numbers that feel too repetitive to be nothing, even if you can't explain why. Maybe it's a person, someone from your past, an old friend, an old flame, someone tied to a chapter you thought was fully closed, resurfacing out of nowhere. A text, a memory that arrives uninvited. That's a Leo energy, the sign your South Node just entered, and Leo governs endings, closure, the past finally settling its accounts. Don't be surprised if the universe hands you one last look at what you're releasing, almost like a formal goodbye. It might sting a little. It might also feel strangely peaceful, like watching a door close softly instead of slamming. Maybe it's physical, a sudden warmth in your chest for no reason, goosebumps in the middle of an ordinary sentence, a held breath you didn't know you were holding until it finally releases. Leo rules the heart, literally, physiologically, the actual muscle. So during this shift, don't be shocked if your body feels things before your mind catches up. Chills are not nothing. Chills are confirmation. Maybe it's a dream, vivid, specific, the kind you wake up from at 3 a.m, still half inside it. Jupiter's presence in this part of your chart right now has a way of pulling the subconscious closer to the surface, expanding what your soul is trying to show you while your analytical mind is finally quiet enough to listen. Maybe it's a song, the exact lyric you needed catching you off guard on the radio, in a coffee shop, through a stranger's earbuds on the train, arriving with a timing too precise to be random. And maybe, it's simply this, a feeling of being unusually calm about something that would normally send you spiraling, a pause where the anxiety used to live. If you felt that lately, even for a moment, that's not you getting careless. That's the old pattern loosening its grip, exactly on schedule. None of this is coincidence, and I want to be honest with you about something else too. This window doesn't fully close tonight. It's the beginning of something bigger. On August 12th, a total solar eclipse lands in this exact same part of the sky, the same house of endings and surrender currently lit up around you. Think of tonight as the door opening, and that eclipse as the moment it locks into place for good. What you choose to release in these next 24 hours sets the tone for everything that eclipse will later seal. So the signs are already here. The question was never whether the universe would show you the way. The question is whether you'll trust it enough to act. Before midnight, here's exactly what that looks like. This is the part where I stop talking about the sky and start talking about you, because everything above means nothing if it doesn't turn into something real tonight. First, name it. Out loud or on paper, it doesn't matter which. Whatever pattern you've been circling, the perfectionism, the overgiving, the need to have everything figured out before you'll let yourself feel okay, say it plainly. I am releasing the belief that I have to be flawless to be worthy. Say it like you mean it, even if part of you doesn't believe it yet. The believing comes later. The saying comes first. Second, pick one truth you've been overthinking and act on it before you go to bed tonight. Not perfectly, not with a fully mapped out plan, just honestly. That could be a text you finally send, a boundary you finally hold, a no you finally say without a 3-paragraph explanation attached. It doesn't need to be big. It needs to be honest, and it needs to happen before midnight while this window is still fully open. Third, give your mind somewhere else to go. Virgo, your analytical brain is not the enemy here. It's just been running the wrong program. Instead of asking it to solve an unsolvable feeling, give it a small physical task. Tidy one drawer. Write a list of 5 things you did right this year instead of the 10 things you think you got wrong. Light a candle and simply sit with it until it burns down. Step outside and feel actual air on actual skin. Anything that pulls you out of your head and back into your body. Small, grounded rituals speak the same language your nervous system already trusts. Use that. Don't fight it. Fourth, and this one matters most, stop asking other people to confirm what you already feel. Tonight is not the night to poll 5 friends about a decision your soul already made weeks ago. Every outside opinion you collect right now is just another way of avoiding your own knowing. You are allowed to trust yourself without a committee's approval. And finally, lean into where this energy is actually taking you. The North Node isn't just leaving your sign, it's landing in the part of your chart that governs your daily devotion, your health, your habits, your service to something beyond yourself. Territory you already know better than any other sign in the zodiac. This isn't the universe asking you to become someone new. It's asking you to bring your old gift, your care, your precision, your devotion, and finally offer it without burning yourself down in the process. That's the invitation, Virgo. Not to stop caring, just to stop paying for it with your peace. You have until midnight, not because the magic disappears at exactly 12 o'clock, but because the longer you wait, the more chances your mind gets to talk you out of what your soul already decided. So don't give it the chance. Do it now, do it tonight, and then come back tomorrow because this story is only just beginning. If even one part of this reached you tonight, Virgo, that wasn't luck. Out of everything you could be watching right now, you found this. Or maybe it found you. Before you go, type the word release in the comments if you felt this one in your chest. I read every single one, and I want to know I'm not just talking to a screen. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications because between now and that eclipse on August 12th, this energy keeps building, and I don't want you missing a single reading. And if this video was for you, it's probably for someone else in your life too. Send it to them because sometimes the universe uses us to deliver its own messages. Whatever you release tonight, Virgo, release it fully. The sky already made room for what's coming next. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, trust the signs.